It's December 2016, Auckland, New Zealand. The air is electric as Andy Ruiz Jr. sets foot on Kiwi soil. He's here for history, the chance to become the first ever Mexican-American heavyweight champion. Joseph Parker, the pride of New Zealand and Samoa, stands tall, carrying the weight of his people. Parker looks to carve his name in history as the first heavyweight champion from New Zealand. The WBO title, vacated by Tyson Fury, hangs in the balance. The heavyweight division is alive again. Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder are on the rise, ready to rule. But tonight, two men, two underdogs, two undefeated fighters step into the spotlight with something to prove. Welcome back to Fight Story.
I remember when I sparred in 2013 at a locked belt, they was the only one that sort of punched me the hardest I've ever been punched before and ripped my mouth, and I couldn't eat for about 3 days.
Joseph Parker's journey began in South Auckland, New Zealand, a tough, working-class neighborhood where grit and determination weren't just values, they were survival tools. Raised in a Samoan family, Parker's upbringing was steeped in discipline and humility. His father, Dempsey Parker, named after the legendary boxer Jack Dempsey, introduced him to boxing during childhood as a means to build character and channel his energy. For young Joseph, boxing quickly became more than just a hobby. It was a lifeline.
Living in South Auckland, it's like not a lot of people know how to fight. And then sometimes if you don't know how to fight, you get picked on.
South Auckland wasn't an easy place to grow up. Parker saw firsthand the struggles of those around him, and it fueled a quiet determination. His parents worked tirelessly to provide for their children, instilling in Parker the work ethic and sacrifice that would define his career.
They came from Samoa. They worked very, very hard. And seeing that as a young boy wanted me to work hard on what I wanted to do. And I think that's where it really comes from, the hard work.
By his teens, he had emerged as one of New Zealand's brightest amateur prospects.
Blue corner from Auckland, Jay Parker.
Combining speed, power, and finesse in a way that was rare for a heavyweight. But Parker's ambitions were bigger than his small-town roots.
That's it, nice, Joe.
In 2013, he left everything behind and flew to Las Vegas to train under Kevin Barry, the man who had guided David Tua to a world title shot.
My good friend Dean Lonergan, my friend of 25 years, said to me, I think Dave Higgins and I are going to get into the boxing business and we're going to sign Joseph Parker. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. And he said, if we sign him, we want you to train him.
For Parker, Vegas was a whole new world. The searing desert heat, the relentless training schedules, and the constant presence of world-class fighters were an immediate shock. But he embraced it, knowing that this was the price of greatness. Barry saw the raw talent, but knew Parker needed refining. Under Barry's guidance, Parker's jab became sharper, his footwork more precise, and his power devastating. The gym in Vegas wasn't just a place to train. It was a crucible where Parker was transformed into a professional fighter. The sacrifices were immense. Parker lived thousands of miles from home, separated from family and the comfort of familiarity. Every day started with grueling runs through the Nevada desert, followed by punishing sparring sessions with elite heavyweights. It wasn't glamorous, it was brutal, but Parker thrived, his skills growing sharper with every fight.
It's all a learning process, and I'm still learning, probably of more sparring and more experience. I'll be able to keep it up.
The hard work paid off. Parker tore through the heavyweight ranks, racking up wins and showcasing a blend of speed and power that left opponents baffled.
I never thought Baby Joseph could do this, but anyway, he went in and did it. Take my hat off to him.
Fast hands.
Fast hands, Baby Joseph is just gonna go. I call him Baby Joseph, but he's not Baby Joseph anymore. He's a big man.
Joseph's hard work.
His breakthrough came in 2016 against Carlos Takam, a grueling war that tested every ounce of his resolve. But Parker emerged victorious, proving he belonged on the world stage. South Auckland had given Parker his heart, but Las Vegas made him a contender. The sacrifices, the struggles, and the miles away from home were building something undeniable. Parker wasn't just New Zealand's best hope. He was now a legitimate force in the heavyweight division, ready to chase his destiny. Andy Ruiz Jr. didn't look like a heavyweight contender. Growing up in Imperial, California, he was raised in a traditional Mexican-American family where grit and resilience were second nature. His father pushed him to avoid a life of construction work and youthful distractions, steering him toward boxing.
I first started training when I was 6 years old, and I trained for a whole year. And when I was 7 years old, I had my first amateur fight. I was always this big, chubby kid where there wasn't people at my age at that weight. So I always had to fight bigger guys, older guys.
Ruiz's early career saw him boxing in Mexico, learning the craft through tough fights against seasoned opponents. His amateur days included over 100 bouts. Like many aspiring pugilists, Ruiz dreamed of Olympic glory. He aimed to represent Mexico in the 2008 Beijing Games, but when he fell short, he made a bold decision. At just 19, he turned professional, trading the headgear for the harsh realities of prize fighting. Ruiz's rise through the pro ranks mirrored the humble beginnings of Joseph Parker. Both men fought on undercards in smaller stages, building their records and sharpening their skills, far from the spotlight.
Now, you've lost a lot of weight since the last time that I've seen you.
Yeah, training hard, and thanks to Miguel Diaz, he's doing a really good job with me and just training hard.
You've been boxing for 2 years. People that don't know your style yet, can you tell us about it?
Well, I'm just an aggressive fighter, really fast, so I just try to be something that heavyweight hasn't seen from a long time, so I'm just trying to do that.
Ruiz's early victories were hard-earned and showcased his potential, but doubts lingered. Critics fixated on his unassuming frame, dismissing him as a mere gatekeeper. Behind the scenes, Ruiz was putting in the work. Training with Hall of Fame trainer Freddie Roach and later under Abel Sanchez at the high-altitude camps of Big Bear, he honed his craft. Sanchez, known for molding power punchers like Golovkin, helped sharpen Ruiz's fundamentals and unleash his deceptive power.
He was always the big dog in the gym, so there's nothing to aspire to. Here he's the little dog in the gym. So he's trying to emulate, he's trying to be a Golovkin, and if he works as hard, he's got the skills, he's got the talent. If he can do it at 60%, imagine what he could be at 95%.
Ruiz began gaining momentum, defeating battle-tested veterans and capturing the WBO Intercontinental title in 2013. These victories allowed him to climb the rankings and earn recognition. But his path to the top wasn't without challenges. Ruiz struggled for respect in a division dominated by giants with chiseled physiques. Every win was a statement. His hands and heart mattered more than his appearance. The heavyweight division was buzzing with uncertainty. Tyson Fury, once the king of the ring, had vacated the WBO title, leaving a power vacuum in a weight class desperate for a new era of dominance. While Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder were beginning their meteoric rises, this was a golden opportunity for Joseph Parker and Andy Ruiz Jr. to step out of the shadows and claim their place in boxing history. This wasn't just a fight for the vacant WBO title. It was a battle to become the next star of a new heavyweight era. The stakes were colossal. With the rise of Wilder and Joshua looming, this was a chance to grab the spotlight, to solidify their names as future kings of the division. The world would finally see who would seize the throne in this battle of undefeated talents.
This is a good opportunity, a great opportunity, and I'm not leaving New Zealand without this.
Well, we'll be working very, very hard to try and break it, and I know Abel's a tremendous trainer. All his fighters are always in great shape and they come with a great game plan. He's a very confident trainer, and I think that confidence brushes off on his fighters.
I think we have two guys that are the future of the heavyweight division. I think they have two guys that are finally going to show us what heavyweights are actually supposed to fight like.
We've prepared well. There's no excuses. The Joseph Parker that I've seen in the last 2 weeks since arriving here in Auckland has been as good as I've ever seen. And my challenge to Joe is to produce a career-defining performance on Saturday night, and if he does that, we will win the world title.
He wants to take the belt back to Mexico and America. I'm going to keep the belt here. So I want to do everything I can in my belt to keep this belt and win this fight and win the belt.
From the opening bell, it was clear. This wasn't going to be a typical heavyweight slugfest. Ruiz charged forward with surprising agility for his size, whipping combinations to Parker's head and body with startling speed. Parker, the taller man, relied on his jab to keep Ruiz at bay, but Ruiz's relentless pressure began to dictate the tempo. rounds ticked by, and while Parker landed eye-catching shots, it was Ruiz who seemed to control the pace early. The middle rounds saw Parker adjust, using his footwork to escape Ruiz's stalking advances. The jab, more of a pawing tool than a weapon, disrupted Ruiz just enough for Parker to sneak in his right hand. As Ruiz slowed, Parker's confidence grew, and by the championship rounds, it was the Kiwi who was landing the sharper, more authoritative punches. But neither man truly dominated. This was a razor-thin chess match, fought on a knife's edge. When the final bell rang, the crowd in Auckland erupted in anticipation. Both fighters had given everything, but the judges would have to decide. Joseph Parker was declared the winner by majority decision, becoming New Zealand's first heavyweight champion. The margin couldn't have been thinner, and the debate among fans and pundits would rage for months.
New Zealand, thank you.
For Parker, the victory was historic, but far from conclusive. The close nature of the fight left a cloud of what-ifs hanging over his newly minted championship reign. Many questioned whether the Kiwi could hang with the sport's elite. For Ruiz, the loss was bittersweet. His skill, hand speed, and durability were undeniable. Ruiz quietly vowed to come back stronger, a promise he would fulfill in explosive fashion years later. Two fighters, one belt, and a battle that foreshadowed seismic shifts in boxing's glamour division.